So my name is Guadalupe Lopez Villegas. I'm a newly business administration major. I recently switched over from biology, which is a pretty big change. But I'm a current student at Diablo Valley College, and I am the student body president there. I was raised partly in Mexico for maybe about half of my life. In high school, as many of you know, it was really hard during the pandemic. Um, so I was not the strongest academically or the strongest involved in my community, but I have a very big spot in my heart for DVC. It's where a lot of students bloom. So after high school, I don't have the best financial situation. So DVC was always the first choice. Um, it wasn't very realistic in my situation to go into a 4-year. When I was in high school, I was so enrolled because one of my friends introduced me to it. Through that, I was like, oh, this could be a possibility. It was something that I was already used to. So it definitely made a transition into college easier in that sense. A lot of how people do the new year, new me. After COVID, after everything, I feel like I missed so many opportunities. I just started researching. I went on the DVC website and I started typing everything that you could possibly think of, like ways to get involved. And then I remember finding Associated Students of Diablo Valley College, ASDVC. And I was actually really late in the process because you're supposed to attend an info session. And through the info session, you go to a retreat. And in the retreat, you become one of the senators. So I actually did not go to the info sessions. And when I was going to go into the retreat, I was very anxious because I hated the idea of going somewhere where I was already late in the process. And I was actually in my car at the DVC parking lot 7, and I was really thinking I should turn around right now. I went in and I just sat for the meeting. I thought this is really interesting. I spoke to a couple people, and then at the time, the president, Ivan Hernandez, he put me in the middle and was like, "Tell everyone about yourself." And yeah, I just I fell in love with the way, people were getting involved. I fell in love with absolutely everything that student government had to offer. One of the biggest things is just being open to growth, being open to being uncomfortable, and overall just being flexible. But you do go in as a clean slate, and it's up to you what you do with the time that you are there. So just opening up to new experiences, kind of throwing yourself out there, taking the first step, taking initiatives is a big one. Absolutely not. It has been a journey. It's been a really surprising journey, I will say. I definitely wanted to, maybe be in this position, but as someone who didn't even think at some point that college was like a good financial choice, to be so involved in the college life was absolutely out of the question. My English 122 professor, Ian Bignami, but he is also the club advisor for Alpha Gamma Sigma, which is our honor society at DVC. I really thought, oh, I wonder what else is to know. I did have a pretty rough start in my fall semester just because, not having developed much of the academic skills that I wish I would have in high school. He was definitely there for that transition. He was very supportive along the way. And even to this day, I still attend some of the AGS meetings. And it's really nice to see all that he's doing. And I'm very grateful for the opportunities and everything that he did during that rough semester. For access to EBT for college students to get meals on campus is a big one. So we want to develop it further. Feminine hygiene products need was not being met on our campus. Just extended it to, okay, we do want it for this to be accessible in every single bathroom at our college. And that is still in the works. We are hopeful that by mid-fall semester or spring semester, we have concluded with a project that makes Metro products completely accessible within our campus. For other plans that are still in the works, for those not aware, Diablo Valley College does have two campuses, our Pleasant Hill campus, which is seen as our main campus, and the San Ramon campus. Because it is 40 minutes away, there's not, for those DVC students that are in the San Ramon campus and wish to be involved more, a large majority of the opportunities are in the Pleasant Hill campus. So making it so that everyone, no matter of, for example, their transportation method, can access and be part of our Senate, because you do have to be in person due to, Brown Act. You do have to be in person to vote. We are just looking into opportunities and ways that our transportation can work better. That way there's more inclusivity from both campuses and they're at the table when we are making decisions. I am currently in the works and trying to achieve halal food options in our school cafeteria. The feedback that we have heard has been amazing. So we are very positive about halal food options in our school. Bottom line for all the plans that we want to have is just to get that student voice. Is on this sweatshirt and is, on our student government wall is by the students for the students. The biggest goal that I have is do it all for the students, because at the end of the day, we are student body, we are the voice of the student body, and we want that voice to be shared by every college student in our campus. It is not only the 50 members that we have that are making the decisions. It is not the 50 members' opinions, values that matter at that table, but it is roughly around 18,000 students that we represent when we do make decisions. When we are making decisions, we make it more informed. If you're making a decision about a specific demographic of students, making sure that they are at the table because they are the ones who are being affected, reaching out. It's absolutely so important to reach out, because I could make my best judgment and that could not be the best decision ever. And facilitating the action of them reaching to you, if I persevere in making sure that their opinions are heard, and when I or anyone on the Senate is making that decision, making sure that that is taken into account. DVC for me has been growth. It truly has been a turning point in my life. I would say I've spoken to so many people who said DVC helped me get out of my comfort zone. DVC helped me reflect on the things that I was doing with my life. For example, I did mention I was initially a biology student because I was so sure I wanted to be a dentist. That's not the case anymore. So now I am in the process of thinking, well, what do I want to do now? And Diablo Valley College has truly opened doors to so many opportunities. I was part of the MESA program, which is math, engineering, science achievement. So this is a program. It is also a learning community where, STEM students get together, specifically from low-income households and first generation. So me being those two, I was able to join. So being part of that learning community and eventually having to leave it because it no longer aligned with my goals was very hard. There was a lot of, clubs, for example, AGS, which is our honor society, Phi Beta Lambda, which is our business club on campus, which I currently am the vice president of internal affairs. And my colleague here, Bruno, is also part of our executive board. So I'm very excited for the things that, we will begin next year. But, it is that growth, and that amplifying that growth is really an inspiration or aspiration to serve as that catalyst of change for someone else. I have never been prouder of the things that I've done than when I was really scared to do them. I wish for people to know that in my 2 years and, the following year that I have in Diablo Valley College, you can come to regret a lot of things, but from my personal experience, one of the regrets I will never have is getting involved. I have never regretted my involvement. I have never regretted walking through that door. I have never regretted all the times where I felt like I was making a difference and I was growing as a person. There's no bigger regret than never have done it. Go ahead, cause those new experiences, just get out of your comfort zone, be a little uncomfortable at times, but just know that in the long run, it'll be worth it.